to recognize that your enthusiasm for this day or this moment or this experience is waning a little bit. You can feel it's early and it's subtle, but you've decided that you're going to take Abraham at our word, and you're not going to push through. You're not going to stay up just because everybody else wants to, or you're not going to persevere. You're going to serve yourself. You're going to be kind to yourself. You're going to follow your path of least resistance. So you get the rest that is good for you. And in that action, which was inspired from emotion, you find alignment and you practice it, and you are usually there. Since alignment is the restorative factor of who you are, it restores your clarity, it restores your abundance, it restores your vitality. It's the restorative, regenerative, it's the replenishment of who you are. So if you are selfish enough to care about that, then you have so much to give to your children and others. But if instead you get sideways in your understanding of this, and you hear that you're supposed to serve others, which means you're not tending to what your guidance is telling you. Instead, you're superimposing what you think someone else needs or wants from you. So you are serving them. You're staying up later than you really want to, or than really feels good to you. And so you are giving everything that you've got. You're giving until you are pinched off from the replenishment. And then, even though you're there, you're not tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You're not giving even anything close to the best of yourself. In your attempt to be all things to all people, or even a lot of things to some people, what happens is you get crossways of your own guidance system. We're going to say something really bold to you, to all of you. And that is, if your primary intention is in service of others, and we're not saying don't help others, don't uplift others, don't serve others. We're saying you must replenish yourself first, or you have nothing to serve them with. Since that replenishment factor is essential to any advantage that you offer to anyone, we want to say that when you put others first, it backfires 100% of the time. Because when that becomes your habit, when that becomes your attitude, when that becomes your behavior, when that becomes your practiced way of living, then you begin to feel resentful, because no one can reflect back to you enough appreciation to make up for what you are missing in the not allowing yourself alignment with who you really are. You cannot use something that is outside of you and something that's inside of you as guidance at the same time. When your intention is the relationship between you, and you get good at reviving yourself, good at finding the subtle stages of it, good at staying tuned in before the momentum takes you far from it, then your timing's right, the things that you say is just right, your playfulness is right, everything about you is good. You are the uplifter that you were born to be, not the server that you were born to be, because you weren't born to be a server. You were born to uplift, but you can't uplift unless you are uplifted, you see. And so everyone you know has access to their own upliftment. And so the way you serve others is by demonstrating through your own relationship with your own inner being what alignment really is. And so as you move around happy and smiling and feeling good and vital and replenished, others can benefit by the power of your example. But if you then get all tuned up, all filled up, all full of yourself, and then you see someone else who could use some, and you decide that you're going to cheer them up, you decide that you are going to measure your behavior against their response to you. So you give your undivided or nearly undivided attention to them. How are they responding? And there's usually more than just your children. There's usually a whole cadre of those that you are trying to find their response to you. And so now their response is what you're looking for, but you can't count on it, because you can't count on them being tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Sometimes they are, even often they are, but often they are not. And so as you are looking for that, you're looking for that alignment in all the wrong places, you see. And so before you know it, the momentum of that is one of, you don't bring me flowers anymore. You don't make me feel the way you used to make me feel. I don't feel the way I used to feel. I like the way you made me feel when I was the only object of your attention and you gave me your undivided attention. Well, that only lasts a little while with anyone, you see. It's no one's job to replace your connection with Source. And when you ask them to, you do a disservice to yourself and to them. And when you try to do it for them, you do a disservice for them. It is like saying to them, I see that you have not found your own alignment with Source, so I will dance a jig so that you will find alignment. I will do anything that I can think of doing so that you will find alignment, because I see that you cannot do it for yourself. And it doesn't take much of that before you begin to believe that, and you begin to looking for others for the upliftment or for the fulfillment that you seek. But it's always an empty promise, because it was never theirs to give. It was never theirs to give. What you're looking for was never someone else's to give. Oh, they can inspire it through their connection, and you know that. Don't you know those attractive people? Don't you love when someone gets tuned in, tapped in, turned on? Don't you enjoy the geniuses of your world who tune in and find those inventions, or tune in and find that music, or tune in and find that art or that passion? You are drawn to those who are in that state of being, but they cannot shine their light on you. You've got your own connection to your own light, you see. Isn't that good to know?
Yes.
So the ideal thing, Esther has been saying recently to friends and family, I keep getting these like 4-second glimpses where I see the entire world as living unconditionally. We're not dancing jigs for each other. We are not needing conditions to change in order to feel good. We've got it, that we can find the emotion of it. We're not needing the manifestation before we feel good. We can find the feeling good. We can find the feeling good. We can find the feeling good without the condition. We can
find the feeling good without the condition. Good evening, grand evening. Welcome to Tranquil Thursday, brought to you by Sovereign Wealth Society. I am Warrior Spirit. I like to start with a song and dance. If any of you want to dance with me, I'm going to get up and dance. I will set the stage for release. Dancing is amazing. Wait, might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope you all are well. We are going to start today with a little bit of Palo Santo. Add some love, positive energy into our vortex. We always love to start with gratitude. So if you have anything you are grateful for, I'd love for you to put it in the chat. I am grateful for God, universe, source, creator, great spirit. I am grateful for my hands to heal, my breath to breathe. I'm grateful for my awareness, for my family, my mom, my brothers, my sister, my father, my stepmother, my nieces and nephew, all of my family. I'm grateful for I Am Academy and learning to trade. I am grateful for MMX, Mindset Mastery. I'm grateful for my dog and cat. Some of the things you guys are grateful for: ascension. That's a beautiful one. Grateful for you. My mother sent that to me in a personal message. I'm grateful for you, Mom. Grateful for God's plan. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Speaking on ascension, we can go right into that. I truly feel the past couple of days have been very interesting energy, and we are literally shedding layers of past pain and trauma that we no longer are going to be able to access, and we don't need to. So if you're having a little bit of character building couple of days, just know that that contrast is showing itself to you so that you know what you don't want and how you're going to move forward in what you really do and what really makes you feel warm inside. Today we're going to talk about boundaries. Now, boundaries is an interesting topic, especially in this placement, because, when we talk in the 3D of it all, there are certain ideas surrounding boundaries that may be a little bit different from the 5D. So I'm going to go through some of the things now. I'm not a trained coach on boundaries. This is just what I know to be true. And so we're going to go forward. One of the best quotes by Brene Brown was, "Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others." And that's powerful. Let me read that one more time. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. Brene said it because that is one of the biggest parts, is that when we feel a feeling that isn't okay and we want to say something or speak on it, a lot of times we back down because we're afraid to disappoint. And so I wanted to define what a boundary was. A boundary is something that indicates like a border or a limit. And I'm going to go over some steps on how to set your boundaries and like what helps with setting boundaries. But I also wanted to talk about how the flawed concept of boundaries and what it truly means to us and the energy that we're really creating here for ourselves. So I'm going to start with these 4 steps on how to assist yourself setting boundaries, understanding, listening for yourself. So I've got 4 steps. Now, the first and most important step of all of them is to figure out what your boundaries are. A lot of people don't know. And we continue to move, doing things that don't make us feel good, putting us places we don't feel good, around people we don't feel good, activities, all different things of that nature. So to sit within yourself and get quiet, get your journal, and ask yourself what your boundaries are. Because if you don't really know them, like actually know them, like a list even, how are others going to be able to know them or respect them if you yourself don't even know what they are? So that's a big one. We want to be able to ask ourselves these questions and listen for the answer. In the old world, we always were seeking answers from all other sources other than within ourselves. And as we move further here now, we must know that the highest form of answer comes from within our God consciousness. The second step is to dig in. and look at why you may struggle to set boundaries. A lot of times we find ourselves in people-pleasing aspects and codependency aspects that come all the way from childhood. And to be able to move through that timeline of what occurred in our lives and go back, that's what digging in means. Like, dig into your history, dig into why you have the feelings and reactions and responses that you do have. Because when you can dig in and look for recognition points, once you recognize them, you can heal them. Because the recognition comes with acceptance and surrender, like a little flow. So if you can dig in with yourself and look at why you may struggle not being able to set them, speaking up for yourself. You know, one of the things is like saying no creates space for your big yes to come in. Because like, as we've explained many times, like, you are God's greatest creation. If you say yes to everything, even if it doesn't make you feel good, then the space for what you really want, what you really desire, what really lights you up, it's not going to have room to come. Step number 3 is open your throat chakra. If we have blocks on our throat chakra, we have a hard time showing up for ourselves, speaking what really means how we feel and what we think. There are several different ways to assist with blocks in your chakra system. One is Reiki and healing. I am a Reiki master. You can always check the links in my bio for my website, which is warriorspiritinfinitelove.com. But Reiki is a great way to open up the blocks on the chakras, as well as yoga. And you can do yoga from your home with a little YouTube video. They have beginner's yoga. A lot of people start with the pesky human brain. Oh, I can't do those movements, and they discount themselves right away. But yoga is actually one of the best things to do to get to know yourself. So crystals also assist. There are several different ones that you can search that assist with opening the throat chakra. There are smells as well. There are herbalists who do smell therapy, and through those scents, as well as the crystals and the yoga, you can open the throat chakra to be able to stand up for yourself, speak clearly, speak openly about how you feel and what you think and what you need, want, and desire. And meditation is also an excellent way to open the throat chakra. You can even Google guided meditations for opening your throat chakra. And they have 10-minute ones, 15-minute ones. 10 to 15 minutes is a really great amount of time to really drop in. And then the 4th step is to communicate clearly. Like, bringing it back to the first step, if you don't know what your boundaries are, then the people around you also do not know. And so that leaves a lot of room for people to step on boundaries that you have. And then when you're allowing so much of the energy that you do not desire, your life isn't as happy and shiny and bright as it could be, So communicating clearly is a really big step. It's powerful energy to be able to speak how you really feel, even if it's something small and short, just to let somebody know. So the 4 steps that will assist you with your boundaries. The first one is figuring out what your boundaries are. The second one was dig in and look at why you may struggle setting boundaries. So we're moving back through our timeline. Open your throat chakra for any blocks that may be preventing you from speaking your truth, and communicate clearly. And again, saying no creates space for that big yes to come in. So even if you may feel some fear surrounding disappointing others, if we take a moment and think about it, really you're disappointing yourself. Because as you choose you recognize that you're choosing God. And it's a flow of energy. That if you're always choosing others' thoughts, opinions, and feelings over your own, then you're not moving within your God consciousness. You're moving within other people's energies. So, also what I was talking about earlier was like the flawed concept of boundaries. Because even though all of the stuff I said up to this point I do resonate with, some of the most important pieces are where we are now in this new incarnation, this new ascended level of vibration. We must recognize that allowing is a powerful next level concept. If you say the word allowing, what does it mean? What does it mean to you? Because you can set boundaries or you can allow the energy to flow and move within your own flow, speaking clearly and communicating as you go forth. So one of the most major points of that flawed boundary concept is that saying yes to something and saying no to something, either way you're going to get it. So if you're setting boundaries and saying, well, I don't want this to happen, the universe just hears this. So instead of saying, I don't want this to happen, or I don't like when you do this to someone else, we can recognize that what you truly want is the alignment with your own vortex. So what you put in is what's going to come out. So say something happens, somebody cut you off in traffic. Instead of, I'm just giving you a light example, it's not really a boundary, but, let's do a boundary. Say, your sister was very rude to you and you didn't appreciate it. So instead of reacting to your sister and saying, well, I didn't like what you said, next time this is how I want you to be, don't do this and don't do that. The universe hears every word we speak. So if you in turn internalize it for a moment and say to yourself, I didn't like how rude my sister was to me. And instead, inside you make it an allowance where you say to yourself what you really do want instead of what you don't. So you take that negative and you put a positive there. And then you're creating what is coming out of your vortex. Every thought, every word, we reap, we sow. Absolutely, Nick. So are you allowing your vibrational alignment with things? If someone is mean, we put a nicer person in the vortex. If someone says something you don't like, we put in the vortex something you do like. Because in fact, setting boundaries is an act with self more than anything. You can take full control over your response and what you're placing inside your vortex. You put into your vibration exactly what you want it to be. One of the most important things as well is checking in with your feelings. Because in this new age, we are moving within love for ourselves and great spirit, love for all those around us, and an inner standing that all of the people around us are also moving in love. Boundaries don't need to be set in a negative, angry, yucky state of being, because then the universe, God, source, creator, just hears the yucky part. And that's what we're moving forth and creating. So getting clear and checking in with your feelings is such an important part of all of this. What I do is I use warm or cold. It was something I learned out of a book I read. It was Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And she would go within and she would ask herself and get quiet for just a moment. Take a couple of deep breaths and get quiet. You ask yourself a question. Does this feel good? And pay attention to the warm and cold feeling. And the more that you do that, you can actually start to feel it. Your skin will get a little warm, your skin will get a little cold, and we move within the warmth, not the cold. And if we can train ourselves to do that, then getting to the point of boundaries is a far off concept, because everything is created from you. Checking in with your feelings. Like today, there was a couple of character building moments for me. There's some really interesting energy out there in the past couple of days. And there are times when I'm in an ebb, just like everyone else. You know, sometimes when people see each other on the medias or on these calls, they get these representations that maybe you think warrior spirit never gets sad. Or maybe you think I never get angry. Or that I never have an off day. And that's just not true. We all have those days. And then we have groups like this to call upon as well. There's really important questions when it comes to boundaries that we can take all the way back to our childhood, because that's where a lot of it comes from. So like if you want to do some journaling on your own boundaries, the question I wrote down to ask yourself is, what did I learn as a child about saying and hearing no? Because we've all grown up in different cultures, with different people in different places. So what did you learn about hearing and saying no? Something so tiny can carry on with you your entire life. So when we begin to question ourselves, that's when we can really move through the muck. I mean, that is pretty much all I've got to say about boundaries tonight. We're going to do an awesome meditation on alignment, and then we'll end with a prayer. So if you guys want to get comfortable, take a moment to breathe. We're going to start our meditation. Start with this sound bowl here. We're going to do a meditation on alignment. Oh, wow. Maybe not. Very interesting. This is not being friendly today. We put on a little bit of music. All right. Everybody wants to get comfortable. I'm going to begin by taking a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Begin by finding a comfortable, quiet place. Close your eyes. Tonight we're going to drop in. We're going to move through the energy of our own alignment. As you exhale, feel your body relax and sink into the ground. Imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet, anchoring you to earth. Feel your spine lengthening and straightening like a tall tree reaching toward the sky. Allow your arms to hang by your side, feeling heavy and relaxed. Breathe in peace. Breathe out tension. With each inhale, imagine light and energy flowing into your body, filling you with vitality. With each exhale, let go of any stress or worries. Visualize your mind and body as a bridge, connecting heaven and earth. Allow the universe to flow through you, aligning you with its rhythm and harmony. As you continue to breathe, feel a sense of balance and stability within yourself. Know that you are safe and secure here in the new world, held by the loving embrace of the earth and sky. Allow your thoughts to drift away like clouds. Let them come and go without judgment or any attachment. Focus on the present moment feeling the rise and fall of your chest. Know that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to be doing. Allow yourself to be guided by the wisdom of your heart, trusting in your own inner guidance. You are the roadmap. As we begin to come back to the present moment, take a deep breath. Breathe into your third eye. Your inner knowing is present. Take a deep breath, and when you're ready, you slowly begin to open your eyes.